We must discuss a crucial Social Security update with you today. You should also watch this video and invite your friends, family, and coworkers to see it as well on Facebook. Thus, they are also well aware of what is happening. But today, we will talk about potential problems and weaknesses with Social Security and what the applicants for this position might face. President Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and his both former President Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, who served as his running partner. We'll talk about what those parties are doing for you, Social Security, and what they're talking about going forward to give you what I really want. To give you a slight spoiler, Social Security was expected to be one of the main topics of discussion in the next election. However, studies and analysts claim that Social Security is not on the ticket, so we'll talk about what it means in a moment. However, I just ask that you take 2 seconds to like these daily updates. All right, let's get started. Since Social Security will run out of money in 2035, just over 10 years from now, a lot of people have been talking about it lately. I want to go over this piece right now. This article from CNBC, published just yesterday, details the 2024 vice presidential nominee's position on Social Security in light of the program's financial deficit. What you should know is that there are several of various concepts. Here's what you need to know. This is the essential Social Security paired with trust. Some of the ideas are good, some are horrible, and some are, well, just ideas. They're not even recommendations. It states that although the funds are expected to endure until 2035, at which point 83% of benefits will be payable, the fund that Social Security depends on to provide retirement benefits is because run out sooner in 2033, when 79% of those benefits will be payable, according to pledges made by both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump to keep benefits unaffected. Medicaid or Social Security, but here's the thing. Experts think that making real cuts, that is, raising the Social Security benefit, is the only way to guarantee that Social Security will continue to exist for the next 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 years. One method of raising money for that purpose is to tax millionaires and billionaires. They have also talked about encouraging more people to work, as doing so will result in more. Here's where things get really interesting. Individuals are contributing to the system, and the last one is to raise the full retirement age, which is effectively a cut of roughly 7% annually. Donald Trump, the former president, has stated that he has no intention of reducing Social Security benefits, according to both candidates. Millions of individuals essentially require this as a service or benefit. The President Biden has also promised not to change Social Security and, if anything, to help recipients of the program more. If you recall, during his 2020 presidential campaign, he stated that if you vote for him, you Democrats promise to give an extra $200 a month for 2 years, but that never materialized. The intriguing thing is that we're now discussing raising the entire retirement age, and by doing so, we would raise it for individuals in their 10s, 20s, 30s, teens, and 40s. But don't touch it for those in their 50s, since, once more, you might be younger than 20. Gone. But by vice president, you mean that J.D. Vance, a possible vice president, is just 39 years old, KLA. Harris is 59 years old, so KLA Joe Biden, the President of the United States at the moment, and Harris Vice, a change in Social Security, would not affect former President Donald Trump or any of his supporters at that moment. However, anyone under 40 might be affected. Under 50 would be acceptable, so let me read you something. According to this, J.D. Vance has stated in the past that he opposes cutbacks to Social Security or Medicare, and in 2019 we had roughly, he said to Fox News in January, "We expect to collect about $4.4 trillion in taxes, given the $4.4 trillion in federal outlays last year. Therefore, the notion that you need to tamper with Social Security and Medicare to arrive at a long-term financial picture of sanity, I don't think that's the problem at hand. There is no plan from either side. Neither the parties involved, nor this implies Republicans, Democrats, individuals without ties. No one has a strategy on how everyone has ideas for how to truly repair Social Security and create a plan that will receive support. But nothing that would pass our present Congress will happen until Republicans have complete control of the President, the Senate, and the House. Alternatively, Democrats would require total power. But even at this point, analysts predict that aides will prevent any kind of Social Security legislation. If one party controls everything, it's because they don't want to take the fallout for their failed plans. For example, the National Committee has endorsed the Democratic Party's Social Security plan, which calls on favors imposing more taxes on affluent people with incomes above $400,000. Republicans have stated that they would not vote for or support this because of the reason that taxes are up to $170,000. It's estimated that there is a Social Security income tax of roughly $168,000, which you will skip from $168,000 to $400,000. After that, they claim that if we're going to tax individuals, we should, says it right here, we need to tax everyone, not just the wealthy. In his State of the Union address and budget recommendations, Biden has stressed the need to preserve Social Security, despite calls from Democrats to make the wealthiest pay more. Into the software while increasing its advantages, Republicans resist tax increases and continue by stating that, in the end, Social Security reform may necessitate a combination of adjustments. I've been saying this for at least 6 months. Are going to witness an increase in the retirement age. This is necessary. Either more people must work, or the Social Security income tax may increase. Cap? Well, it could be a cap. It could be the tax rate. Something needs to go up. We need more money for Social Security. And the other is, will there be a cut? Well, let's look at that. What J.D. Vance has to say about what you should know about him. In a June interview with the New York Times, he made the following suggestion. 7 million prime-age men who are not in the labor force to work. He claims that if you move millions of those guys from unemployment to employment, raise tariffs, and boost overall earnings, you could be able to purchase yourself a far longer than the 9 to 10 years that the actuary says. Here's what you need to know, and this is highly essential if you recruit more people, potentially 7 million more, then that men are correct. These are prime-age males who can be hired as laborers. This will increase revenue for businesses, which will grow and support the economy by generating more tax revenue. Are going to be added, and 7 million people will now pay Social Security income tax at a rate of 12.4%. This represents a respectable sum of money and additional revenue. That some have been saying, let's just raise the federal minimum wage past $725. This won't generate trillions of dollars, but it might generate $1 billion, okay? Easily generate an additional $1 billion in tax income, which is why raising the federal minimum wage in some states, particularly the South, and recruiting more workers nationwide are not the best options. Just the individuals who are entering this country illegally, roughly 7 million prime-age men, who have recently chosen to leave the labor market but are still able to work legally, let's bring them back, is one that former President Donald Trump has frequently brought up. Let's reinstate tariffs and ensure that other nations that profit from our actions in the United States purchase. When using our funds to purchase their goods and products, let's ensure that they are paying a tariff to the U.S. in order for us to grant them entry. All right, this brings me to my final point. Just to let you know, based on reports, it appears that whoever wins the vice presidential race in this forthcoming election, be it Vice President Kamala Harris or Vice President J.D. Vance, has the highest chance of winning. The result for the 2028 election, not the 2024 election, is that the vice president of the president who wins in 2024 will probably be running for office in 2128. Why is this important now? This is important because experts predict that the incoming administration won't make any changes to Social Security because there will likely be a divided Congress, a potential Republican president, and other factors. We don't know if the president is a Democrat, but we do know that this is beginning to become such a major problem that analysts predict Social Security won't be impacted until we are approaching 1 to 3 years before Social Security becomes bankrupt, which implies that Social Security will go bankrupt in 2035, and that we won't even consider Social Security until 2032 or 2034. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the administration that comes after, from 2024 to 2028, may not even be the one that addresses Social Security in the end, from 2028 to 2032. We're hearing horrible news there, but that's what we currently know. I guarantee that I will provide you with all the most recent information on Social Security as soon as I learn more. Is all we have to go on. So once more, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.